Welcome to week 2 in our Chaos to Control Time-Saving Strategies to Maximize Your Day series. This week, we are talking all about how to make your to-do list work for you. So let's dive right in with my 5 best tips to help you use your to-do list more efficiently. I don't know about you, but if I don't write something down, I'll forget it about 110% of the time. Just ask my husband if you don't believe me. So tip number 1 is just that. Write it down. Even if it is as simple as don't forget to bring Harper Elizabeth's cleats to soccer practice. If you get in the habit of writing everything down or putting it in your to-do list app, we talked about my favorite to-do list app, which is the G-Task app in video 1. So go check out that video if you missed it last week. It will be linked below here as well as any other tools that you may need. But if you write down all of the little tasks, no matter how minuscule they seem, not only will it help you remember to do those, but it also frees up your brain to think more creatively, to problem solve, and to be more present. Our brain can only do so many things at once. So if we're constantly thinking, don't forget Harper Elizabeth's cleats, don't forget Harper Elizabeth's cleats, that is using brain power that we probably want to be utilizing for something else, like writing a great email or creating fun choreography or helping our kids with their homework. So write it down no matter how little it seems. Tip number 2 kind of goes along with tip number 1, and that is to brain dump morning and night. So first thing in the morning when you get up, whether you have pen and paper by your bed or you have your app on your phone, I want you to brain dump everything that you think you need to get done that day. Again, no matter how small it is, because it will help you feel lighter and less stressed to not have to constantly try to hold on to that entire list of things in your head. So whether that says go to UPS, go to the grocery store, and go to Lowe's, which in our world, all those 3 things are in the same shopping center, and you're like, oh, I'll remember. I have most definitely gone to the grocery store and forgot to go to UPS, which is right next door, if I don't write it down. And then the same thing at night. If you had ideas for projects that you want to accomplish, either the next day or the next week, write all of those things down before you go to bed. It will not only help you sleep better, but it will remind you in the morning of that great idea that you had right before bed that you may have otherwise forgotten by the time you woke up, or maybe that's just me. So get in the habit of brain dumping morning and night. You will get more done, but also feel less stressed. I swear by it. Now, next up, tip number 3 is to prioritize your to-do list. So right after I tell you to write down anything and everything, now I'm going to tell you that if your to-do list is a mile long, you have to go in and prioritize what absolutely has to get done that day. Now, duh, Lauren, we all know that that's what we should be doing, but I encourage you to take it one step further, and either in the morning or the night before, whatever works best for your schedule, identify those top 3 or 4 things that must get done, and then next to them on your to-do list or in your to-do list app, write down exactly how and when you are going to get them done. So for example, I hate going to the post office, so I'm probably going to procrastinate on that for as long as possible. But if I know I have to get that return back in, I may write on my to-do list, go to the post office at 4:10 p.m. after you drop off the girls at tennis, right? So that way I know that in the order of my day, that is exactly when it's going to happen. I can make sure that the post office or UPS is still open, that I have enough time to get there, and that it will get done that day. Another example might be if you need to write a sales email. That takes quite a bit of brain power, and you know that it might take a solid 1 to 2 hours to get it done. Let's say you're writing a series of sales emails for your studio or your business, and that needs to have uninterrupted time. That can be hard to find in a schedule. So you're going to need to decide when exactly you're going to get that done and possibly move a few things around. So maybe you write sales email first thing in the morning when you get to the office. Don't open your email browser until you get that done, because you'll get distracted. You could go down a rabbit hole of opening emails, and you have wrote on your to-do list that you absolutely have to get that email series written first thing, 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning when you get to your office, either somewhere else or at your home, wherever that may be. So those top 3 to 4 things, write how you're going to get them done and when you're going to get them done, so you make sure they actually happen. Tip number 4, schedule certain tasks based on what you know is happening in your schedule that day or that week. So if you're thinking about your to-do list for the week on, let's say, Sunday night, and you know that certain tasks are going to take you a certain amount of time, like those 2 hours we needed to allot to write our new sales email series, look at your week in advance and say, okay, on Thursday, I know that as of right now, I'm going to have 2 hours that I could allot to writing that email series. Put it on your schedule, block that time out on your calendar, so that by the time you get to Thursday, you don't all of a sudden have 5 back-to-back meetings or clients, or you volunteered at your kid's school, and now those 2 hours that you needed to get that task done is gone. So look ahead at your calendar, schedule those tasks that you need to do, or schedule tasks in accordingly. So say Harper Elizabeth practices tennis next to the post office on Tuesday. I'm going to go ahead and write that in on my to-do list for Tuesday in the G-Task app. I can schedule it ahead to show up on Tuesday, so that way I don't overcommit myself on top of those to-do list items that I know I need to prioritize. And that can help you by the end of the week have more big projects crossed off your to-do list, because you don't end every day running out of time, right? You allotted the time that you needed for those more time-consuming projects. And then tip number 5 is to keep a weekly and monthly to-do list of reoccurring items. So I use Google Drive, like we talked about in video number 1, for my monthly and weekly to-do list. So items like sending your monthly newsletter out to your studio, doing payroll, certain social media posts that need to be themed and have to happen on a certain day, or monthly class parties, or monthly schedule to volunteer at your kid's school. If you know you do something every single month or every single week, write it down, so that way as you're making your to-do list for the month or the week or the day, you always have that list to constantly go back to. So something that seems so repetitive, or something you're like, oh, I will never forget to process payroll, doesn't accidentally slip through the cracks. So that can help you to stay on task and on project and get more done. So thank you for tuning in to video number 2, and I'll see you next time.